the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Please have a seat. And you see that microphone there?
Yes.
If you would try to sit close to that so
Yes.
we can hear you.
Ma'am, can you please tell the court reporter your full name and how you spell it?
Yes. My full name is Samantha Kolyesnik. Should I spell my first name too? Spell my first name Samantha. Last name is Kollesnik.
I'm going to ask you if you have any trouble at any time and you need to take a moment, just let us know, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Can you tell us, without giving us an exact address, where do you live?
I live in the state of Pennsylvania.
Okay. And can you tell us just a town? Or rather the area? What's the big city there?
Lancaster County,
Okay.
near Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
And what do you do for work now?
I work full-time at a software company, a technology company.
Okay. And do you do anything on the side to earn money?
I do. I do various artistic endeavors. I write books. Sometimes I make independent films.
How long have you been doing that?
Many years now. I mean, over 5 years.
Okay.
Yes.
Were you doing that back in 2022?
Yes.
Okay. And does that writing of books and work that you described, does that give you an online presence?
Yes.
Would that be how you try to sell or distribute some of those?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you published?
Yes.
How many books have you published?
I think 4, and then I've had short fiction published in many different books, many different anthologies.
You done any movies?
Yes, but nothing big, just little independent films.
Okay.
Yeah.
But your work has gained some traction?
Yes, I'd say a small following, nothing, I'm not like a big known person or anything like that. No.
Okay. What type of genre do you write?
Mainly horror, fiction. Some people call it like dark fiction and horror, those kinds of stories.
Okay. And can you tell the jury what is a pen name?
A pen name is, in a general sense, just a name somebody might use to write books that's not their real name, that's not their their legal name, on their ID.
Is that common in the author community?
Very common.
Okay. So when you were selling books, did you sell them online as well?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that capacity, did you have occasion to meet an individual that went by the name of Nick Stark?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury how you first became acquainted with Nick Stark?
In late September 2022, I had a public Twitter, it was then called Twitter. Profile to where as an author, to where I sometimes sold books, and I had sent a public tweet saying that I was selling signed books on my website, and Nick Stark, he had I think it was the username either Nick Morefox or KJ Stark at that time in Twitter. He messaged me to let me know that he had bought 4 of my books, like all 4 that were for sale. Yeah.
Okay. Is that the first time that you met him?
Well, I didn't even meet him at that time. It was the first time that, he was directly communicating to me online.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was the first communication, even if it wasn't a face-to-face meeting.
That's correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
And you said there was a Twitter named KJ Stark.
Yeah, he had several different Twitter names, so I can't be positive which it was, but it was either Nick Morefox, which I believe was his pen name, or KJ Stark. I believe it would be one of those 2.
Okay. And at that time that you first interacted with him, did you ultimately have the ability to recover those tweets and provide them to law
Yes.
enforcement? Okay. So they're here and available for you, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Did you learn whether or not he was also writing?
He told me he was a writer. I don't know to like what extent. I don't think he had been published as of yet, or maybe he had a short story or two published. I think he was a short fiction writer primarily.
Do you know what kind of genre he wrote?
The same, to my knowledge, horror, dark fiction.
So initially, you said you met him by way of digital message online in late September of 2022.
Yes.
Did that conversation continue after you first interacted with him on the purchase of your books?
Yes.
Tell the jury how that progressed in terms of the conversation.
Well, the messages were not a whole lot at first. At first, I really didn't even understand why he felt the need to message me, because a lot of people don't message when they buy books, they just buy it. But I said, thank you for buying my books, something to that effect. And then he just he messaged again, and he just kept messaging. And then we just started engaging in small talk, like off and on through October, but not a whole lot of messages at that time. Very light conversation, I would say, in October of 2022, and all on Twitter direct messages.
So those conversations were all online, nothing in person?
Correct.
Okay. Did that time period between September and October of 22 ever graduate to phone calls?
Not in October, to my knowledge. I think the first time we had a phone call was in November of 2022.
Okay. So at some point it progressed from text messages to the actual phone?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And when you spoke with him over the phone, do you remember, you said that was in November, you believe?
Yes,
Okay.
November 2022.
Did the relationship change from light banter at any point to something more romantic?
I think so, yeah. It became, flirtatious and more, I'd say, emotionally charged.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would that be part of what ultimately yielded phone calls?
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did there come a time when you met him in person for the first time?
I met him in person for the first time December 16th, 2022.
Okay. And where did you meet him?
In Pennsylvania.
So he came to you?
That's correct.
Okay. At that point, did you know why he was in Pennsylvania?
Well, he said that he was taking a long drive for a work trip to Missouri, and then he said that he could drive from Missouri from his work trip. He said he was working in legal compliance to Pennsylvania, and he also said that he would end up in Delaware because he was working on a big merger and acquisition, and they were having that in Delaware, which would be, Delaware is very close to Pennsylvania. It's a short drive away.
Did you know where he lived at the time in December of 2022?
He said he was living in Georgia.
Okay, so it was your understanding he was going from Georgia to Missouri, and then from Missouri down to Delaware, and he'd stop by you?
Yeah, I wouldn't say stop by because it's quite out of the way. He said, yes, he was driving from Georgia to Missouri because he had something for work that he had to do. And he was driving because he had his dog with him, named Rusty, just a big dog. And I'm sorry, I don't know the breed. And then he said that he would love to meet me and he would drive, since he was already on the road, from Missouri to Pennsylvania. I did push back and say, that's a big drive. I don't know. That's a lot of expectation. It feels like when somebody drives that long of a distance. And he, paraphrasing here, he basically said, I'm going to, drive out to see you. And I want to meet you. And, if you don't like me, I'll just drive back. He made it very, he persisted and, made it very, low pressure from my point of view.
Okay. Now at that point, would it be fair to say you had met him at the end of September? How long, I say met, online?
Talked online. Mm-hmm.
How long had it been since you started talking to him to when he came to your place? December 16th, approximately?
I'm not sure I understand. That was the time frame. So he started talking to me online, Twitter direct messages in September. And then the first time that I ever met him in person was December 16th.
Okay, so about 2 months roughly?
Yes.
Okay. And at that point, what was your marital status?
I was separated. I'd already filed for divorce and moving from my marital home to my own home at that time. And I moved in November of 2022.
Okay. And in that time, before you met Mr. Stark, were you concerned that you had met him online?
Yes. Yes, I was. And I had, even asked him, about that and said that I was concerned because I was newly single and, living basically alone. And, he had provided some documentation to me, I think, to, kind of comfort me and assure me that, he was who he said he was. He sent selfies. He sent some other documents as well, just to verify his identity. And it did comfort me that I thought he was who he said he was.
Okay. Did you ask for his driver's license?
Yes, I did.
Did he send it?
Yes.
Did you ask for something from his employment?
I did at one point, but I did not ask for that then. I asked for that later. Yep.
Did you ultimately receive both the driver's license and his employment verification, for lack of a better way to phrase that?
Yes, I received a copy of his driver's license, which said Nicholas Stark on it, like a photocopy. I received an employment verification letter from the company he said he was working at. Should I say the other things that I received
Let's
to
just stop
verify?
there for a moment.
Okay.
I'm going to approach, Your Honor, if that's okay, and show the witness what I have physically marked.
Show the chat.
1.84 and 1.86. I'm going to show them on the teleprompter after, but you will have a copy here. You'll be able to also see them on the screen.
Should I look at them?
Yes,
or-
please do.
Okay.
Do you recognize 1.84, the first document I handed you?
Yes.
What do you recognize that to be?
This would be the employment verification letter from the company he said he was working at.
Okay. And is that a exact duplicate of the document that you received? Just a copy?
I believe so, yes.
At this time, I'd seek to tender 1.84.
Any objection? No objection. Submitted.
And 1.86, the next document in your hand, do you recognize that?
Yes.
What do you recognize that to be?
This is a photocopy of his driver's license, which says Nicholas Killian Stark on it.
Okay. And what state is that from?
Georgia.
And do you recognize that to be the document that he sent you of his driver's license?
Yes.
At this time, I'd seek to tender 1.86 as well.
Any objection? It is admitted.
You can hold those right there.
Oh,
At
okay.
this time, Your Honor, I'd like to publish 1.84.
You may.
Does that reference a company name of Apis?
There we go.
APIS?
Yes.
And
So
if I
he says
scroll
he
to the
works-
bottom here,
With Apis. He is the security
does
chat.
it indicate also when Mr. Stark began working at Apis Limited?
Yes.
And when was that?
It says February 12th, 2018.
Does it also indicate to you an email address at the very bottom where you could contact if there were questions?
Yes.
And what was the @ portion of that?
apislimited.com.
I'm now going to turn your attention to the driver's license. If we can probably turn it off in between. Thank you. I'm now publishing 1.86. One moment. There you go.
He spent all this time on the computer making up fake documents.
Is that the copy of the Georgia driver's license you received?
Yes.
And that was a name of Nicholas Killian Stark on there, correct?
Yes.
Does it say the expiration date on that top right side?
Yes, it says June 3rd, 2030.
And was that a photograph of Mr. Stark?
Yes.
As you knew him?
Yep. Yes.
Thank you.
Although I will say I don't think he had the beard when I met him. So that difference.
Okay.
Yep.
So he sent you those two documents at varying times, and you believe that he was Nick Stark?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. Did he use any other names? I know you said he used that pen name. Was that Nick Moorfox?
Yeah, I believe he had the pen name Nick Moorfox that he published short fiction under.
Okay.
That was like his author pen name.
Gonna get these stories
Do you know
in.
if he had changed his name in any other way?
No,
Those are the only two names that you knew.
that's correct. I mean, he had the other username KJ Stark, but he told me his he had two middle, like Killian James was like his full, yeah. So I just assumed that was the KJ Stark,
Okay.
but no, he never told me he had another last name different than Stark.
Did you ever know the name Nicholas James Kassotis?
No.
Now, you indicated that at the time, you were in the process of a divorce. You'd already been separated. Did you know Mr. Stark's marital status?
I believed I had. He told me that he was a widower and that he had lost his wife
COVID.
and his unborn child about 2 years prior, and that they had both died in a hospital.
And he told you that when?
He told me that he first referenced that his wife had passed away in October of 2022 in Twitter direct messages.
Oh,
He told you that in October of 2022?
Yes, in the on Twitter in the direct messages.
get the
Did you
skillets out, chat.
subsequently determine that that was not correct? Meaning, did you find out from law enforcement that that was not the case?
Oh, I found out from law enforcement that was not the case on the date of his arrest, and that was not until May 2023.
So when you first met KJ Stark via tweet, that was communicated to you through a tweet?
So the tweets are like public, but we were communicating through the Twitter direct messages or like private messages, like similar to like if you were talking just like a text message, but just on Twitter.
Okay. I'm going to try and make this a little bit easier. Your Honor, I have 1.93, 1.94, 1.95, sequentially through 1.99. So 1.93 through 1.99. May I? Yes, sir.
The giant soda on the desk. Mood. You need it. Or I guess it could be like something else, but. The guy behind is just all relaxed, sat back. Hey, Tia.
Now, I'm actually going to put these up on the screen, if I may, Your Honor, so I'll seek to tender them first.
Like, yeah, shout out to the mods. Especially on this one, there's been a lot of questions and very helpful from mods and everyone in the chat. Like, hey, did they say this yet? When did that happen? There's a lot of group effort here.
Exhibits 1.93 through 1.99. Can you just take a look at them and tell us if you recognize them?
I do.
Are those a fair and accurate depiction of what you provided to law enforcement in conjunction with this case?
Yes. I believe I provided more than this too, but yes, these I did provide. Mhm.
Okay. And are those just exact duplicates of what you've turned over, just not in color?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, I seek to introduce 1.93 through 1.99.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, they're all admitted. It's a total of 7 exhibits. They are admitted without objection.
I'm now going to open and publish Exhibit 1.93, Slide 1. Would it be fair to say that that's what you have in front of you is 1.93?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to scroll in here. Can you see the name of the tweet that was sent from to you?
Yes, it's KJ Stark.
Okay. And is that what you were referring to earlier when you referenced late September first speaking with Mr. Stark?
That's correct.
Okay. And would it be fair to say that here you have sort of an announcement on the public page about you selling the books?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And as a result, is that why or when you received rather the response from Mr. Stark concerning the purchase of the books that you were selling?
Yeah, so what he's done here is he took like my public tweet and he kind of like quote tweeted in a message and then wrote his message beneath it. Yep.
Would that be the message that he sent to you?
Yes.
And when was that sent?
September 24th, 2022.
And in that post that he sent to you, did he offer to communicate with you?
Yes, he did.
And if you look at the top of this post, was he aware that you were going through a divorce at that time?
Yes.
Okay. And as a result, did you respond?
Yes, I did.
And you indicated earlier that that's not common. Is that correct?
It does happen sometimes. Sometimes people want to let you know they're buying your books, but it is not the majority of cases. No, I wouldn't say it's common.
Okay. So I'm now going to go to number 7. That would be 1.94. Just so we're clear, the gray writing and the pink writing that is displayed on the screen, who is the gray writing?
The gray writing is Nick.
And the pink?
That's me.
Okay. And just if we could look specifically at this first paragraph.
Yes.
Does he reference there specifically about losing his wife?
Since they're not going to read it, I mean, hold on. Don't judge me for like squinting all the way in. Do you want to go back and read it? And she's done this a lot with exhibits where we put it up, even when we're not seeing it, we know there's more on the paper. All right. So it starts with a mid-sentence break. I don't know if it works on Max, ? I hope the move goes well. I know moving, especially in the context of other life upheaval, sometimes feels overwhelming and stressful. I think moving feels like that always, but add in the other stuff and it's even worse. In the last 3 years, I moved a couple times, learned pretty much everything I thought about myself was not true, and had my wife pass away. None of this is to try to compare. I don't do that. It's just to say I probably know some, though certainly not all, there's a lot of parentheses, of the feelings you're dealing with right now. And if there's ever anything you need or want to talk about, the door is open. I neither mean to pry nor to suggest that there aren't 100 people in your life better suited, just here if I can help. Well, that was a bit of a mouthful. Feeling like you're working 24/7 is tough, and I wish I had an answer. I think it's even harder since I started working remotely, which I love on one hand, but on the other, it just blurs the work/personal timeline too much. Plus, always having something I could be working on makes it hard to relax. I have not yet figured out the answer. If you do, please share. Hope your week is going well.
Writing.
Sorry. Fall weather arrived in Georgia overnight. So it got cold. This is October 18th, 2022. And hopefully it is here to stay. Rusty and I had a delightful walk this morning, made me feel alive. Hope your week has started well and you're feeling accomplished. And we have, hey, Nick, typing from my phone as I'm already in bed, so I fear this may be another super long paragraph. I'm so sorry to hear about your wife. May I ask what happened? If you don't want to talk about it, that's also totally understandable. You're right that moving is stressful. It sounds like you've done a lot of that lately. Do you think you'll stay in Georgia? I take it Rusty's your dog? I haven't had a dog in years and very much miss it. My last dog was Charlie, a little calm terrier. You were right. And then I think we have to wait till they move the exhibit more. So let's go back to listening. He didn't make Rusty change the name.
And just if we could look specifically at this first paragraph.
Yes.
Does he reference there specifically about losing his wife?
Yes, he does.
Okay, so if I were to read the line, in the last 3 years, I moved a couple times, learned pretty much everything I thought about myself was not true, and had my wife pass away. Is this what you were referring to?
Yeah, so Project Bandshirt called this out. The wording, had my wife pass away, is pretty interesting wording.
Yes.
And when was this ultimately received by you?
October 18th, 2022.
And at that time, did you believe his wife was dead?
Yes.
Did he subsequently tell you that his wife also had been pregnant at the time she passed?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did he indicate at any time that he was in any other relationship, or just that that one had expired? Meaning the relationship had ended, that she had passed.
Oh my God, lady.
He never indicated that he was in any kind of relationship with any kind of romantic relationship with anybody.
Did you know if he had another wife that preceded the wife you just referenced?
No.
Okay. So at that time, you thought that the only time he had been married was to the woman he described on October 18th?
Yes.
Okay. Did he say how she died initially?
Yes, he said that she died in a hospital and that blood pressure complications and possibly an undiagnosed heart condition as well.
I'm now showing you the next slide. That would be 1.95. Can you read us that paragraph starting she had?
She had an undiagnosed heart issue that was aggravated by her pregnancy, very sudden change in the way I thought life would look, but doing my best now to figure it out.
So he told you that in this tweet?
In this private message, yep, on Twitter.
What day did he?
So she's moving along. So this one says it starts in the middle of you've bounced back and I'm sure you'll knock it out quickly. She had an undiagnosed heart issue that was aggravated by her pregnancy. Very sudden change in the way I thought life would look, but doing my best now to figure it out. Cairn Terriers are so cute. I just looked them up. Charlie must have been a cool little guy. I hope to not stay in Georgia for all that long. Nothing against it. It's just not for me. I'm not really a city guy, but haven't really found a place outside the city that felt right. Thinking about options, I'd love to make a move and be more settled, so not rushing it. Have considered going back to Central VA, Charlottesville area, which I loved when I lived there, upstate New York, or maybe back to New England. Been taking weekends here and there to go to different spots to compare. Not in a rush, so I can get it right. Rolled a few out so far, but haven't landed the, quote, this is the right spot. Are you from wherever you are? Do you like it? I'm realizing I have zero idea where that is. I think I'll stay on the East Coast. Feels like home, but I've also considered going back to Europe. Oh my God, that's like, just name all the continents. Though I've got a weird immigration thing in the UK that could make it so much easier or harder to do. So getting that resolved would be nice. Okay. I hope your weekend is off to a great start and you've managed to squeeze in some fun. I'm sure you've got a lot on your plate, but I hope it's not all that's on your plate. Have a wonderful day. And then he says, also, The Watcher was a little let down. I thought there was some amazing acting and the premise was fantastic. Do we have any Watcher fans in the chat? And I personally... Oh, okay, so the lady went back up. All right, so let's see what she questioned. She's going back up to the exhibit. Heck yeah. Heck yeah, Curious
And he
Coco.
described it as a very sudden change. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Did he mention if they had children? Other than that she was pregnant when she passed?
No other children, just that she was pregnant and that she lost he lost both her and the unborn child is what he told me, and that he had no other children. No.
Okay. Did him telling you that his wife had passed impact your trust of Mr. Stark?
It definitely impacted me. It made me feel very sad and bad for him, because that's a terrible thing that could happen to somebody, to lose your wife and an unborn child. That's how I felt at the time. I felt bad for him.
So there was something similar, right? This is another, someone said it in the chat, mourning for the living. It might have been, maybe it was Candace. It was great wording, one of you brilliant minds in the chat. But the idea, the concept that you're mourning the loss of somebody and then you find out that they're still alive. You're doing the mourning for somebody. You think they're dead, but they're still living. So here, she gave support to someone to help support their grief, mourning someone they believed they had lost. Whole time the person they're helping to grieve and feeling for, empathizing and sympathizing with, knows dang well the person that's being griefed over is alive. And something similar happened with the mom, although the mom didn't get emotional like this witness is. When the email from APHIS Limited, which we now have this letter that shows proof of employment that Nicholas Kassotis / Stark sent Kolesnik here on the stand to prove he worked for APHIS Limited. Well, we get an APHIS Limited email from an MJ something telling Betsy that, oh, Nicholas Stark got in a car accident. He's in a coma. He's going to die. He passed away. He's not dead either. Very, very weird. But the concept of mourning someone, yeah, Candace, it was Candace. Like, just imagine that. Like, feeling like a fool for grieving. You have a serious, real emotion, and now you're made to feel like a fool about it because it didn't actually happen that way.
Okay. Did you convey that to him?
Yes, I felt empathy because that's when I thought he had lost his wife and unborn child.
Did that also facilitate you continuing to chat with him?
I did continue to chat with him, yes.
And did that then progress to that more flirtatious and romantic stage that you described for the jury?
I would say more like emotional at first because I had lost somebody close to me too, I thought too at the time. So more emotional and then, yeah, eventually flirtatious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, at some point, you said in December, he came to visit you. You had just moved, is that right?
I had moved in November. Yep, that's correct.
Okay.
So just like about a month prior.
Okay. And when he came to visit, did he stay with you in December of 2022?
No.
Why not?
Well, for one, I wouldn't have somebody stay with me just meeting them. And then two, he had Rusty, his dog, with him, and my house, I rent, and they don't allow pets. Okay. They don't allow any pets in the place.
Okay. And so do you know where he was staying when he came in December?
When he came in December, I believed he was at an Airbnb in Pennsylvania.
Well, was your understanding, if I'm correct, that he was going to Missouri,
Mhm.
he was going to visit you, and then he was going to Delaware. Is that right?
I think he was going to go back to Georgia first because that was his home, but he did tell me he would have to live for several months
Mhm.
in Delaware because that's where he'd be working for the merger acquisition that he was the point person on. That was my understanding.
Okay. Did he move to Delaware as far as you know?
I thought, yeah, that his company was putting him up in Delaware.
Okay.
Not that he had moved there, but that his company was providing long-term housing while he worked on this merger and acquisition.
Did you know if he had moved to Pennsylvania at some point after his Delaware trip?
I don't think he ever permanently moved to Pennsylvania. He stayed at Airbnbs in
Okay.
Pennsylvania when he was visiting me.
Let me be more clear.
Okay.
Was he staying in Pennsylvania in some location at some point while the time period from December forward in 2022?
From December forward, to my knowledge, I mean, he was spending the work time in Delaware, and then he would spend some weekends in Pennsylvania,
Okay.
when he wasn't working in Delaware.
Okay. So as far as you knew, he was commuting basically from Delaware and staying back at the Airbnb in Pennsylvania.
Yes, that was my understanding.
Okay. And when that was occurring, would it be fair to say what months?
I met him in December. It would have been, the last half of December,
Okay.
January, February, March, April of 2023, and then that first half or so of May 2023 until the day he was arrested.
Okay. So during all that time, you weren't living together.
No, we were not. We never moved in together. We did stay at the same Airbnb, some Airbnbs that he
Okay.
rented together.
Okay. And at that point, you said that the relationship grew and it became a romantic relationship, correct?
Yes.
Did there come a time when he described to you the process of moving and what had happened with his belongings?
Yes, he told it an anecdote in Twitter direct messages, I believe, about how he had moved previously and some of his things, I think, were water damaged in a moving pod, like a storage pod.
Okay, I'm now going to turn to 1.96. Would it be fair to say that sometime in early November you were talking about your move with him?
Yes.
Okay, and that's when he made the quip about his belongings?
Yes.
So I'm directing your attention to Exhibit 1.96, the paragraph that states, I highly recommend putting 85% of your belongings in a pod for a year that is defective and not actually watertight if you want help downsizing. Is that what you were referring to?
Yes.
And as a result of that, did you believe that he just didn't have a lot of things?
I believed that some of his things had been damaged. I don't know that I had a real image of how many things he had at that point.
Okay.
But that he had lost things. Yeah.
Quite a bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, those conversations and those tweets at the time, would it be fair to say that they were pretty innocuous? You didn't think very much about any of it other than just banter?
Yeah, I'd say from that first message in September through October, and you can even notice in October, sometimes there's gaps in days to where before I would respond. And probably even the first part of November, yeah, it felt very, very light. And then it picked up frequency, and I'd say emotional resonance. Yeah.
Okay. And at some point, did he talk to you about his work and moving and things of that nature?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to direct you to slide number 20. That for you would be 1.97. it be fair to some of these got very personal?
Yes.
Can you tell us what he told you about his upbringing?
He told me that he had a very horrible upbringing.
All right, let's read this because I think this one we definitely got to read if this prosecutor is just going to have it up on the screen. Very, very bad abuse. Well, okay. So first line actually says, "Oh gosh, I will give you the very abbreviated version. Very, very bad abusive upbringing, which switched to a lot of emotional abuse/control as I left home. Little brother was the golden child. I could do nothing right ever. I finally started therapy and setting some healthy boundaries, and they reacted extremely badly. At around the same time, what I thought were bank errors turned into very extensive identity theft issues, which were traced back to my brother. When law enforcement got involved, things got very scary for me while in some very bad ways, which triggered 2 moves and is the reason why my mail still goes to Florida before coming to me. A little over 2 years ago, documents got turned up that caused me to be asked if there was... Now, hold on, pause. Going to Florida. Did he just have like a business registered in Florida for like tax interest maybe? Like an LLC registered there? Why my mail still goes to Florida before coming to me. A little over 2 years ago, documents got turned up that caused me to be asked if there was a chance I wasn't biologically related to the people I thought were my parents. And I said no. And then I thought about it, and a lot of things suddenly made sense. So there was a whole thing, and I took a DNA test and waited months, and I am not at all related to the people who raised me, which has raised a trillion questions for me, but gave me the opportunity to identify my actual parents. And what has been the silver lining to all of this? It's still messy, and the wheels of justice continue to turn very slowly, but I'm treating it as a bonus. I have very loving parents, and we'll read as it continues."
He was abused. Should I tell you just what's on this or what he told me later in general?
I'm just referring to...
just this, that he had a bad abusive upbringing, and that he found out late in life, like as an adult, that he had been adopted, and that his parents, who he thought were his parents, were not his actual like biological parents.
Did you believe that?
Yes.
And I don't know, but this lady back here, like, we're talking about the parents behind him. This lady resembles Nicholas. So if she's mom, she to me appears to be biological mom. Like, indisputably, based on what I can see with my eyes.
Now, in the weeks coming up to him visiting you in December, were there communications?
Yes.
I'm going to turn your attention to slide exhibit 1.98.
Mm-hmm.
This is slide 22. Do you see where he references in the second paragraph, I'm trying to get a bit ahead on work so I can spend the next few weeks traveling. Did he indicate to you exactly where he planned on going?
All right, so let's read this. Something recently that sounds like quite the week. I'm trying to get a bit ahead on work so I can spend the next few weeks traveling. I'll still be working, but like to have a little built-in cushion on projects when dealing with the vagaries of Wi-Fi on the road. Going to spend this weekend in Virginia, then New York, Bedford/Hudson Valley area. Oh no, Coco! Then on to New England after Thanksgiving. So he won't be available. He's got plans for Thanksgiving. So hopefully going to spend a little time poking around and seeing how a few spots feel in terms of life there. Seems like a better use of my time than the 45 Zillow emails I wake up to every morning. Okay, relatable. I enjoyed Cabinet of Curiosities. The anthology format was a fun one for a series. Were you working on an anthology film for one of your collections? I feel like you were. Sorry, I'm all questions today. My personal favorite was... But yeah, he's laying out, he's got so much to do around the time of Thanksgiving.
You can read that to us if that makes it easier.
Yes,
we're going to read it.
I'm trying to get a bit ahead on work so I can spend the next few weeks traveling. I'll still be working, but like to have a little built-in cushion on projects when dealing with the vagaries of Wi-Fi on the road. Going to spend this weekend in Virginia, then New York, then on to New England until after Thanksgiving. So hopefully going to spend a little time poking around and seeing how a few spots feel in terms of life there. Seems like a better use of my time than the 45 Zillow emails I wake up to every morning.
So is your understanding that in the weeks leading up to this email or text on November 8th, that he was traveling?
That is correct. And this would have been far before the Missouri trip, he told me. And he told me, I don't know about like what he was doing in these places, but he did say that he met with one of his biological father's lawyers during this time, I think was something he said in terms of that trip.
So at this point, you didn't have any reason to believe that he was homebound and couldn't leave his residence, right?
No.
I'm turning your attention to slide number 1.99. Would it be fair to say that this is also in November?
Yes.
Okay. And these were all leading up to the time period when he was coming to visit you? Or, well, I should say, when you were developing a relationship?
Yes. At this time, he had never, we were not even talking about, we had not talked about a visit that I can remember.
Okay.
That didn't come up till December.
Okay. So on November 10th, that last paragraph, can you read that for us?
Tomorrow, so I had asked, when do you leave in the previous message? And he says, tomorrow afternoon, going to get on the road a little early and hopefully miss the traffic. I always say that I'm going to sit down and come up with a list of things I need to pack and just save it so I can print it out every time and have the basic things figured, but I never have managed.
So as far as you knew, on November 10th, he told you he was going to be going on a road trip November 11th of 2022.
Yes, that's correct.
And still at that point, he never told you that he was unable to leave his residence, correct?
No, he never said he was unable to leave any residence.
Okay. Now, during your relationship, you indicated that at some point you shifted to some phone communication. Is that
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever use something called Signal app?
We did not use the Signal app to
Okay.
communicate.
Okay. Are you familiar with it?
I am. Mhm.
Okay. But you didn't use that?
We didn't use it to communicate, no. And I didn't use it at that time, no.
What about Proton email?
I knew he used Proton email because I think I saw it on some of the emails. I did not use Proton email. I had actually not, I didn't even know about Proton email until I saw it like in one of his emails, like I can't remember what you call that, the @.com. Yeah.
Okay. But he didn't require you to use that with him?
No.
Can you tell the jury, in late November, when you and he had just started talking, did anything happen to your vehicle?
Yes.
Tell the jury what
vehicle.
happened.
I had a flat tire on my
Okay.
car in November.
Okay. And did that prove to be problematic in any way?
I mean, just as problematic as a flat tire, would be to anyone. I was, moving, and then it definitely was like a hassle, yeah.
Timing not so convenient?
Yeah, and I'm very bad with cars, so
Okay.
car trouble stresses me out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did Mr. Stark offer to assist in any way?
He did.
What did he do?
He offered, and keep in mind we had never met, and he offered like via messages, because we were talking on WhatsApp at that time. He offered to fix the flat. He had said that he could have my car towed to a repair shop and have the flat tire fixed.
And did he do that for you?
He did, and I was very surprised.
Okay.
Yes.
At that point, I believe your first communication was October 18th of 2022. Be fair to say that that was some approximately 2 to 4 weeks later?
Our first communication was September
My apologies.
2022.
Mhm.
And then I'm sorry, what was the second half of that?
How long had you known him before he had your tire fixed?
I mean, I wouldn't even say that I knew him at that time. I'd been messaging him online for, it would have been a month and a half to 2 months, somewhere in that range.
What did
Yeah.
he have done for your car?
Okay, so he told me he was only going to fix the flat tire at the repair shop. When I got to the repair shop, my friend took me to pick up my car, I was very surprised because the clerk at the repair shop, he said that Nick had paid for 4 new tires and 2 new bulbs on the front headlights. I'm not 100% certain that's what it was called, but he did some kind of repair or something to the front headlights. I think it was new bulbs. Yeah.
Did you determine how much that cost?
It was a big bill. I mean, what I would consider big. It was like, I think it was $600 and something in that range. Yeah.
I hate getting new
Was that
tires.
concerning to you?
Yes.
What did you do as a result?
I felt a mix of feelings. I felt grateful as you do when somebody does something kind for you, but it also felt like a lot. And it already felt like a lot just to have somebody fix your my tire for me. And then the surprise of that it was 4 new tires and then like a bulb change or something. It was just a lot. It was a lot to the point that the clerk at the car shop, he said something like, "Is that your husband or is that your boyfriend? He is so nice." And I said, "No." I said, "He's just an acquaintance, Yeah.
Did you have a conversation with him about that? Boundaries?
I first talked to some friends about it just to get their opinion because it was such a big gift.
Mhm.
And then I did talk to him and I said, that was too much. That was a lot. You said it was going to be 1 tire, then you did 4. That's a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in response to that conversation, well, let me be clear. Do you remember when you had that problem with your tire?
It was November of 2022. I do not remember the exact date.
Okay. Was it beginning of November, end of November, if you recall?
I think it was the last half of November of 2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
And after you had the conversation with him about boundaries and too much, what did he do?
He had this sort of like, he apologized, he kind of played it off and he said this endearing thing kind of to where he's just like, "I'm so sorry, you're right. That was an odd gift. Most guys, I've just been he said something like, I've been out of practice for a while, and here I am like thinking that he's been, grieving for 2 years. And he's like, I've just been out of practice. I haven't dated. He's like, I just wanted to do something nice for you. He's like, but yeah, you're right. Tires. He's like, come on, like what guy gives a girl tires? He's like, it should have been flowers, right? Or something. And I said, yeah, flowers would have been more appropriate, than the 4 new tires. And then it kind of became like a little, it's like that conversation changed it from something that felt alarming at first to something that felt like, oh, okay. Like he hasn't been dating for a while and he went overboard, you know what I mean? He must like me and he went a little overboard in showing that. And it then became a little bit of an in joke throughout our relationship. He'd be like, oh, the tires. Yeah. Like what kind of guy gives a girl he's dating tires? That was so stupid of me, like that kind of thing he used to say. Yeah.
Did he subsequently give you flowers the following week?
Yes. About a week later, he had a very nice bouquet of flowers, like hand delivered to me, my house.
All right, poll in the chat, just a casual poll, sentiment check. Obviously, we're taking her testimony in with the context. We're watching this trial. We are getting the timeline of all of these things. We're trying to fit her testimony in the context of a different wife, second wife before this wife. She's the third wife, being found dismembered. But if we were to step away, I mean, could it be that a guy really isn't manipulating somebody, isn't trying to love bomb, and maybe these longer messages aren't the most helpful because we know the backing context. But I kind of feel bad hearing this, the idea that there could be a guy out there, a totally random person has nothing to do with this case, liking somebody and trying to do a nice gesture, and then it just instinctively feels creepy. So I appreciate her, and I feel bad because in this instance, you can tell in the time she was like, oh, after he said that, I realized he's just been out of the game for a while. And she gives another chance. She tries to listen and hear him out and understand him. And I feel for her in that moment. Because I kind of think a regular guy that's just trying to do a nice gesture, and a girl's first reaction is that it's creepy and tells 5 friends about it. That makes me feel kind of bad for the guy. I don't know. but here, knowing all the context, it's like, oh, you thought that was creepy and you wanted flowers instead. Maybe I should adjust real quick. Okay, I'm going to give you flowers now in this specific case. Let's Go Brandon says, I did it. I cannot tell a lie. Is this the new pen name? The Nicholas Stark, aka Let's Go Brandon.
Yeah.
Is that still
Hey,
in
Broken Baker.
late November?
I believe so. If it wasn't late November, then it
With
would
snack?
have been probably the first week in December, but I think it was about a week after that, the tire repair. Yeah.
At some point, did you and Mr. Stark get engaged?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall when that was?
It was April, or no, I'm sorry, we got engaged. The reason I said April, we got married in April. We got engaged in February of 2023.
Do you remember the date?
I don't.
Okay.
I want to forget the date. I don't remember. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's February.
Okay. So at some point in February of 2023, you get engaged. And then did you ultimately apply to get married?
Yes.
Can you tell us, prior to getting married, did you have to fill out paperwork for that?
Yes, he filled out the paperwork. And I think it was an online application.
Okay. And as a result, at this time, I'm going to show her 1.92. Do you recognize that document?
Yes.
What is that?
This is the marriage license application that was submitted for our marriage.
Okay. And do you recognize that to be just a photocopy of the original?
Yes.
At this time, I would seek to introduce I believe, is that 9.2?
No objection, Your Honor.
It's admitted.
Can we please publish that? Thank you. And does that reference your names at the top of that?
Yes.
And was it required to indicate how many marriages this was for you?
Yes.
And does it indicate how many it was for Mr. Stark?
Yes.
And what was that?
He wrote that it was his second.
Did he indicate how his last marriage ended?
Yes.
And how was that?
Death,
And did he give a date of her death?
December 1st, 2020.
And this was issued when?
April 13th, 2023.
Did it reference the names of his parents?
Yes, this is who he said were his biological parents. Edward Williams as his father, living in the UK, and Susan Fox, living in California, as his mother.
Did you understand that to be who he claimed were which parents, the adopted or the biological?
Biological parents that he had connected with and found out, later in life, as an adult.
So how would you have a pen name more what? Is Susan Fox a real person? Who is Jim? Who is Susan Fox?
That's who I thought they were.
Does this also reflect the date that it was initially filed?
Yes, April 10th, 2023.
And did both you and Mr. Stark have to sign that document?
Yes.
And did you?
Yes.
Those are both of your signatures?
Yes.
Okay. And that, of course, is your name also at the top, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Now, did you subsequently actually get married?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that was also sometime in April?
Yes, that was in April 2023, I believe, late April.
Okay. And prior to getting married, did you and Mr. Stark discuss your living arrangements? What
Yes.
you were going to do after you got married?
Yes.
Okay. What was the plan?
He was going to move to PA and he wanted to buy a house. And then he said that we would both live in that house together. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And as a result of that, who was going to pay for the house?
Nick Stark.
Okay. Did he indicate to you whether he was financially in a position to be able to afford the house without your assistance?
Yeah, that over time, but yes, yes, he said he was able to do that.
Okay. So he was going to be the one buying it.
Correct.
Okay. Was he responsible then for the arrangements for the finances?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you tell the jury, did you in fact start looking for houses together?
Yes.
Did you find any?
We did. At first, we were looking at houses for him because he said he was going to move to PA. And so it was just a house for him. And then as our relationship progressed, we started looking together. And we did. We found several that we liked. And then we landed on one, so to speak, or chose one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did that ultimately result in an offer, acceptance, and a closing?
It resulted in an offer. He made an offer.
Ooh.
I believe the offer was accepted.
Fell
And
through
if
on
I'm
a.
thinking about it's because I'm not like real estate. I've never bought a house before. And
Fell
I
through
think
on the
he had
back
put
end.
like a down deposit or whatever, earnest money, whatever it's called in real estate. Yeah.
Okay. And was there an actual closing date scheduled?
Yes.
Okay. So do you know when that was?
Yes.
When was that?
March 20th, 2023.
And why do you remember that date specifically?
It was a traumatic day.
What happened?
We were supposed to close that day. And in the morning, I was still in bed. We were staying together at an Airbnb in Pennsylvania.
Is she sick?
I was still in bed and he woke me up and he said he looked like he had already been up for a bit, totally dressed, and he said that he was going to go run some errands and pick up the check for the closing, the cashier's check, and that he would be back before closing.
Do you remember when the closing was supposed to be?
I think it was around noon, but I'm not positive. I don't remember the exact hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was sometime during the day?
Yep. Sometime during the day.
Okay.
Yes.
And he left to go get the check.
Yes.
Was he supposed to come back to the house?
Yes, he was. Yes.
Okay.
Before closing. Yeah.
Did he have a car at that time?
Yes.
Do you know what type of car it was?
My God.
I believe it was, I could definitely recognize it if I saw it. I believe it was a Ford. It was kind of like an SUV, a larger SUV. I want to say it was a Ford Explorer.
Okay.
And I believe it was green.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at that point, he left to go pick up the check
Yes.
and was supposed to come home?
Yes.
Did he come home in timely fashion?
No.
What happened?
He wasn't home when I thought, he probably should have been. Like it was getting closer and closer to the closing time. And so I started texting him like on WhatsApp, like, hey, are you okay? Is everything okay? Because it felt unusual. And then I started calling him and I wasn't getting through to him. It was either going like right to voicemail or just like clicking off. The connection was clicking off. And then I got a very alarming text message from him.
Okay.
And it said, or WhatsApp message, same thing. It said, my car buddy, because I think autocorrect, I just remember this text. It said, my car buddy into flames.
First.
And of course, like reading that message, I'm like, buddy first, like the autocorrect. And I was just, that's such a strange message to ever receive. But, so then I'm like calling him frantically, and I didn't get through to him. I got through to, or I might've gotten through to him for a second, and then he like handed the phone off. But then I talked to a paramedic or an EMT, some kind of like medical professional.
Was at the scene with him?
Yes, correct.
Okay. At that point, you said that he had been on his way to the bank. Is that right?
That's what he told. He said he had to run like some errands and also pick up the cashier's check or registered check from the bank, from Citizens Bank. Yep.
Did you know how much the check was for?
I do not remember the exact amount, but I can tell you it was something like, it was a large amount. It was $800,000, I want to say, or 850. It was a very large amount of money. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is your understanding that he was picking up the check and that he had been involved in a car fire of some sort?
Car accident is what I was thinking at that time.
You thought car accident. Okay.
Because even reading I was like, I couldn't really fathom what had actually happened,
Right.
But yeah, some kind of car incident.
Did you know if the car was new?
I think it was pretty new. I don't think it was an old car.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at that point, did he go to the hospital?
So that's something I asked the EMT or the paramedic, and I said, is he going to the hospital? Like what hospital can I meet him at? Those kinds of things. And she said, he doesn't want to go to the hospital. And I said, but are you like, should he? Is he okay? Like I was asking like those kind of caring, concern questions. And I still didn't really grasp. I didn't grasp what had happened to the car or how like severe it was, because I remember asking the paramedic or the EMT, I said, can you make sure, he gets all of his things out of the car? And she kind of, I don't want to say chuckled. It wasn't like she was amused, but she was just like, I can try, but I don't think there's anything left in that car. And hearing that, I still was like a little bit confused. I didn't understand the scope. And then, I asked, are you sure he's okay to not go to the hospital? And she said, well, he doesn't want to go. Like, we can't, yeah, he just wants to go back to you or whatever, or home,
When he got home, did you take him to the hospital?
Yes, I insisted on taking him to the hospital. I was concerned about him.
Why?
Well, when he walked through the door of the Airbnb, he was like crying a little. He was shaking. He had some he looked a little burned, like on his face, like he was missing, I want to say like half an eyebrow. Like
Okay.
he had, yeah.
Okay. As a result, I'm going to show you 1.91. Do you recognize what's depicted in this photograph?
Now, this is speaking of 2022, and while I don't think the 800K thing is truthful, I don't know. For him to make an offer and for it to be accepted, if the real estate agents were doing their job and they were even at the point they were at, he should have had to have provided a proof of funds to show that he could make the purchase. Did he have 800K in that car? Questionable. Probably not, in my opinion. But he did come across some money from a Sony deal where Sony had, I think around this time, like 2021. And we're going to get bank records. So we're going to get a precise date on when any money may have been paid for these tires or been submitted in and sent over from Sony. He must have been able to get to the proof of funds stage, but he's going to use this car fire, I'm guessing, as a way to get out of the home purchase while also garnering sympathy. And what's weird is this gives me an answer. I don't think he burned the car to destroy evidence necessarily. he might have burned this car just to get out of actually committing to the closing day on this home, or both. But that's a lot of planning.
Yes,
What is that?
that would be his medical bracelet, like the bracelets they put on you at hospitals, and that was from his when I took him to the hospital.
Okay. And at this time, Your Honor, I would like to introduce that exhibit 1.91, I believe.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, it's admitted without objection.
I'm going to publish it. Did that reflect the admission date on it right there?
Yes, yes, March 20th, 2023. Yep.
Thank you. That was the day of the closing as well?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And at that point, do you know what happened with respect to the car? In terms of the insurance? How did that go?
I still don't. Oh, you mean like the insurance? I don't know. I still don't know what happened really. We went to the hospital, and then I had asked him, did you call insurance? And he said no. And I'm thinking he's in shock. And so I, encouraged him to do so. I said, well, you should report that, to your insurance company that you had an accident or a fire or whatever it was. And so I believe he did that. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But initially it was your impression that he had not.
Correct. He was acting, I thought he was in shock because he wasn't doing the things that I had always been told to do if you have a car accident. And that was strange for him because he was usually such a intelligent, put together person. Like it just seemed odd. Like photos. I had asked him a day or two after the fire, I said, did you take any photos of your car? The damage. And he said, no. And he said, do you think I should? And I said, I remember specifically saying this to him. I said, Nick, you're a lawyer. I said, what would you advise a client to do? And he said, oh yeah, I guess you're right. I'll go take photos. And so then he went and took photos, and it was the photos that he showed me that I finally realized the extent of the damage to this car. And I was horrified.
Did you see the photographs yourself?
Yes.
How bad was the car?
As bad as you could possibly imagine. There was nothing, it was just a frame, it looked like, of the car left, like a metal frame.
There was nothing left of the car.
Yes, and then it made sense with the paramedic, her reaction, when I had asked to get his things out of the car.
After the incident with the car, did you follow through? Because that happened, you said March 20th of 23.
Yes.
Did you follow through with your plans to get married?
Yes.
Okay. And that's when we showed you the marriage license, is that correct? Or the application?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. Did you know a woman by the name of Heather Thomas? Had he ever mentioned a woman by
First
that name?
wife.
He mentioned he had a girlfriend named Heather. He said it was just a girlfriend. He said she had wanted to marry him and he did not want to, and they broke up, and that it was a messy breakup. That's what he had said.
Never told you that was his wife?
No.
Never told you that he had divorced her?
No.
Did you know if he owed her any money?
No. He told me he was debt free. He told me he owed nobody nothing.
He said he didn't know anything.
That's correct. He said he was completely debt free.
During your relationship with him, did you discuss having children, the two of you?
Yes.
Did that seem important to him?
Very much so, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at that point, did you make any arrangements to try and get pregnant?
Yes, around the time we got married. Yep.
Can you tell the jury what you did?
I went to a preconception appointment at my with a certified midwife at my OB office. Yep.
Okay. So that was right around what point in time?
Right around the date of our marriage. Yep.
Okay. So that was right away.
Yes, that's correct.
Now, you've testified that you had no idea that Mr. Kassotis had a first wife, no less a second wife, correct?
That's correct.
And
That he didn't have. I testified that he didn't have. What do you mean by that?
let me clarify that. It was your testimony that you didn't know that his wife was alive when he first met you.
Yeah, no, I did not know that.
And at this point, you didn't know either that there was potentially a first wife named Heather Thomas.
Right, that's what I thought you were. Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't know he had a wife before.
Okay, can you tell us how you came to learn of those things?
I came to learn of those things through over the course of several conversations with Agent Tracy Sands of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation after Nick was arrested.
Do you see Agent Sands here today?
I do.
Can you point him out for us?
He's right there next to you. Yep, in the middle. Yeah.
The record can so reflect, Your Honor. And can you tell us, how did it make you feel learning that he had not only the first wife who had passed, but the second wife from before her?
I don't think words will ever capture how I felt, but I felt if I had to choose some words, I'd say horrified, shocked, traumatized, violated, deceived.
What did you do?
In the days that followed his arrest, I contacted Agent Sands multiple times. Tried to, after learning that, I tried to be as helpful as I could be because I was horrified. And so in the days that followed, I took pictures of all the belongings that he had in the Airbnb and sent the photos to Agent Sands and asked if they needed anything of his belongings. And they requested some of those, and I had them shipped to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. And then I also, like his laptops, his phones, and when I say laptops and phones, because he had one for work, one for personal. And then I also started looking messages, emails, anything that I thought the Georgia Bureau of Investigation might want to see. It was just, I was still in shock, but I knew that I wanted to be helpful because what I was hearing was so horrifying and I had no idea. And so I was trying to be as helpful in those immediate days as I could be.
What did you do about your marriage?
I wanted it annulled because I felt like the marriage and everything in the marriage was not consensual because of his fraud, and I wanted it annulled. And annulment in Pennsylvania is very difficult. It's very, very rigid about the requirements to get an annulment. It has to be fraud,
and it was
or
granted.
like some very specific other things. So it was very hard to get a lawyer who would actually even pursue it, but I did get one, and we filed for an annulment and a divorce at the same time in case the annulment wouldn't go through. There are not a lot of annulments in Pennsylvania, to my understanding.
I don't know why that jumped.
And then I had to wait several months before we could go to a hearing, and we went to a hearing at a court of common pleas in Pennsylvania. And
did you get an annulment?
And the judge in Pennsylvania granted my annulment on the basis of his fraud. And so that was that's very rare in Pennsylvania that they do that. So the marriage was declared null and void because he committed fraud against me.
Do you know whatever happened to the house that you were supposed to buy?
I have no idea.
Did you ever buy it?
No,
Did you ever move into a house that he purchased?
no,
Did you ever see that check that was supposed to be
No.
picked up?
no. He said the check burned in the car fire. The cashier's check. Yeah.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Oh
Weinstein,
boy.
cross-examination.
Good morning, Ms. Klesser. I'm Doug Weinstein. I represent Nick Kassotis. I just have a question for you about the down payment on the home. Do you recall Nick Kassotis putting a $50,000 down payment on that house?
He said he did. Yes.
Okay. I have no further questions.
What?
Anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. You're excused.
So